Time is never found again, or is it? By blahblahblah1703. Nightmares have haunted me ever since my father died in the mines, and they only got worse after Prim's name was drawn from the reaping bowl. Every subsequent hardship has added more and more into my subconscious, and has been repeated on a cycle in my dreams since. Today I woke up drenched in sweat with a scream right at the tip of my tongue, but it hadn't been let out. I don't remember what this particular nightmare was about, but it puts me in a bad mood before I even get out of bed. I wish Peter could hold me through them, just like those nights on the victory tour. Those were the best nights of sleep I'd had since I was 11. Somehow his presence silences my subconscious and allows me to get a full night's rest, something that I desperately need before, again, entering the arena for the fight of my life. I just sigh and head to take a long, hot shower, one of the only luxuries from the capital I fully embrace at all times. Not just out of necessity and circumstance. The warm rain feels like it washes all my fears and distress away. I need to be focused. Today is the first day of tribute training, and Peter and I need to be prepared for anything. So I get dressed into the training clothes, tight black pants, a long-sleeved burgundy tunic, and leather shoes, the same as last time, and I know I will be matching with Peter. My head towards breakfast, when putting my hair in its signature braid. Peter, Hamish and Cinna are already at the table, and I see Portia coming from around the opposite corner. Hamish is eating a potato hash, and Cinna has a cup of black coffee, along with a plate of fruit and sausages. Peter has a large breakfast. 3 eggs, 4 strips of bacon, 2 sausages, 2 pieces of toast with avocado, mash and caramelised onions on top. Then he has a smaller bowl filled with a white goop, apparently called Greek yogurt, with bananas, strawberries and some hard oak clusters. Beside him sits a glass of juice and a protein drink. I quickly claim the seat next to him, and almost immediately an identical breakfast is laid before me by a Navox. I quickly jump into breakfast, as I know soon Effie will get here. It will be time to head down to the gym. Just as I finish my eggs, and I'm about to start on my yoghurt, Hamish finishes his meal with a long pull of his drink, which I'm assuming has spirits in it based on the way he relishes it. "Okay, kids," he starts. "Here's how I want today to go." Peter and I look at him expectantly. "You two are not gonna leave each other's side," he says before continuing to mumble, "Not that I expected you to, anyway." Peter and I both have to hide our smirks. Yeah, fat chance of that. "You are gonna go to all, and I do mean all, of the stations," he says seriously. "However, and this is important, so get it through your thick skulls, you are not to go to the stations that can showcase your talents." He looks at Peter. "No knives, and watch yourselves on the weights also." He points straight at him, making sure he knows to follow the instructions. He looks at me next. "You already know where to stay away from, sweetheart. And trust me, I will be plenty pissed if you disobey my instructions." He sneers. "Noted," I retort, dryly. He rolls his eyes. "Learn to tie some knots, throw a spear, climb a rope. Hell, I don't care what you do. Just learn something useful. Don't give anything away. And stay together," he finishes strongly. Effie comes waltzing in at that moment, and I abandon my table manners to stuff the 3 bites of yogurt into my mouth. Peter offers me his arm as we walk to the elevators. During the ride, I switch to holding his hand, and he gives mine a reassuring squeeze as the door opens to the training centre, once again set up for all the stations. The first station I see is the ropes course. It is huge and takes up most of the ceiling, as well as one of the walls and a corner. The second is archery, knife throwing, spear throwing, slingshots and trident throwing station, set up with multiple dummies and different lines set at different distances. Third is the weights, set up just beside the rope course. There's a bunch of different equipment and weights that range from many sizes and shapes. 4. Hand-to-hand combat and group training areas. For hand-to-hand, a large mat set in the centre of the room, where I know trainers will be placed in case anyone wants to wrestle, box, or just try something out. The group training area is set up right now as extra hand-to-hand. However, it will all change the day for our group training session, depending on what they plan to do. Then to the far back hand of the corner are the food stations, edible plants and edible insects. To the right in front of the survival stations, namely fire starting, shelter building, hammock and basket weaving, camouflage, and knots or snares depending on your skill level. Then finally the front and the left are the close-up or melee weapons. Swords, daggers and knives, tridents, maces, axes, scythes, clubs and spears. So, all in all, especially to someone who hasn't seen it before, this place is intimidating and downright terrifying. Truly a nightmare and an eye-opener for most tributes. I finished checking everything in, and once again I noticed that we were the last ones here, even though we were even earlier than the last time. Everyone is looking at us because we are last, but yes, mostly because we are the only pair dressed alike, and we are once again holding hands, even as we get our district numbers pinned to our shirts. As we join the circle, the head trainer, a tall athletic woman named Attila, steps up and begins to explain the training schedule. I tune her out though, focused on the reactions of the people around us. Kato is flexing and focusing on the boy from 7, frightening him beyond reason. Clove is staring at Attila with rapt attention, while Glimmer picks at her nails and adjusts her hair. Marvel is checking out the girl from 10 in a frankly disgusting manner. Rue is listening to Attila, also, but she looks overwhelmed, even if she keeps looking up to the rope course at the ceiling, obviously excited to get up there. Thresh is just brooding, his large arms crossed, as he looks almost bored. Foxface is looking at all the stations, contemplating. I'm not sure what, but I can see that her brain is running behind her intelligent amber eyes. So, all in all, not a huge surprise. But still, I feel the need to be aware of everyone else, just to make sure Peter and I weren't ambushed somehow. The careers once again pull the intimidation act when we are released. Clove heads straight for the knife throwing. Marvel moves to the spears. Glimmer goes to the archery station. Wow, that girl can't shoot worth a damn. Kato heads straight for the sword trainer. Everyone else kinda scatters in the wind. Rue heads to the rope course. Thresh goes towards the fire station. Everyone converges on either the weights, the edibles, or the melee weapons. Peter starts leading me towards the knot station. The instructor, once again, looks surprised to see us. "Hi," he says almost excitedly. "Hello," Peter greets back. "So what can you show us?" he asks the instructor with one of his sunshine smiles. "We can start on some basic knots, or if you already have some knowledge, you can tell me what you already know, and we can take it from there." He trails off. Peter looks at me with a raised eyebrow, and we both turn to the snare wire in front of us. The trainer looks surprised, but he doesn't stop us. Peter demonstrates a squirrel snare, and I show him the one I generally use for rabbits. He looks at us with wide eyes. Peter and I just dismantle our snares to show him one more each. I show him the one I, ironically, learned from him, the one that causes your enemies to dangle by their ankles. Peter shows him a double spring snare trap. Peter is better at snares than I am. His artistic view and nimble fingers, used to working with sticky dough, are far superior compared to my small hands, even if I can do a lot of the detail work required for the more difficult snares. The instructor barely knows what to do with us. He decides to show us a few knots that would be good to review or go over. Basic ones that everyone should know, and one or two pretty complicated ones. But otherwise, I think we're a bit out of his wheelhouse, so we swiftly moved on to the next station, fire making. Thresh had thankfully left while we were tying knots, so we have the station to ourselves for the moment. The instructor comes over with a box of matches, obviously thinking of starting easy with Peter and I. Move in sync. He collects the large wood pieces and I gather kindling and a good stick. We move with practiced ease and start a fire with just the wood. The instructor can't believe her eyes. She's rubbing them 3 or 4 times, thinking herself hallucinating. There's no way we should have been able to start a fire this quickly and get it burning this well. She's not wrong, but it is funny how our previous experience is baffling the trainers. It is really taking a lot out of me not to laugh at them. Their preconceived notions about District 12 are being sorely tested today, and I can only imagine what they're thinking. She moves quickly on to the girl from District 3, and leaves us to dump water over our roaring fire. Our next stop is edible plants. It's crazy how many hints are offered at training about where we're headed. All of the berries and insects are common in temperate forests, just like the surroundings in 12. Needless to say, Peter and I pass with flying colours. I just barely managed to meet Peter, but honestly, he did so much better than he had the first time. I just have more practice. Lots more practice. The trainer waves us off after we take the exam, not seeing a need to talk to us about it, but Peter and I head towards her anyway. We have a few questions. Hello, she greets us curiously. Can I help you? You seem proficient. More than even. She trails off. Yes, actually, I say with a smile. I don't feel as real, but I know it looks genuine enough. Can you tell us the medical properties of the different flora and edibles? My mum is a healer and has used some herbal remedies. I was just wondering what you could tell us. I finish in a whisper, not wanting to be overheard, even if we are the only ones there at the moment. The instructor looks surprised and genuinely delighted to be asked. Yes, actually. It's not my expertise, but I could tell you quite a few. Is there anything in particular you would like to know? She asks quietly. I was mostly wondering about battling infection and anti-inflammatories. Maybe even fevers or the like. Peter jumps in, all smiles, as if this isn't life or death, just a friendly chat. A casein is a good thing to look out for, and it grows wild. It can help infections of small scrapes, and in the past, different groups have even used it to treat poisonous snake bites. My skin crawls at the thought of snakes. Too much like our dear old president. Not to mention yarrow is amazing for bruises and inflammation, as well as bug bites and stings. She says as she walks around the table, showcasing all the different edibles, pointing out each thing she is talking about. Both are good options, but what you are really asking me for are these. She points to an almost baby pink berry, so light it could argue the berry wasn't pink at all, rather a white colour. These are perfect for infections, if you can find them. They are the main ingredients and some of the finest capital medicines. In its raw form, it's not as potent, obviously. But if you just use the juices, almost immediately after an injury, the infection rate is likely to drop by 80%. She finishes, leaving Peter and I in awe. Yes, we will definitely be on the lookout for those in the arena. Remember, it has to be almost immediately after an injury, so I would recommend you collect them when you see them, instead of just knowing where they are located, the trainer assures us. Peter and I nod at the trainer and ask a few more questions about the medicinal properties of this or that, but we quickly make our way to another station. We go to the edible insect section, which we both do okay on. It's definitely not either of our strong suits. When the ropes course, both of us are more than good at it. My small stature and light weight perfect for climbing, while Peter might be bulky and heavy. He is nimble and smart about where and how he climbs. After that, we go to the hand-to-hand combat station. Peter excels, pinning the instructor many times, in many different ways. I do pretty well. Peter taught me how to use my opponent's own body weight against them, and multiple moves that, while not fair in a fight or a match at school, are likely to save my life in the arena, so I definitely utilise them, leaving the male trainer very aggravated with me. Peter is above and beyond me at melee weapons, which is our next step. His choice is a double-edged sword that comes to a sharp point, perfect for both slashing and stabbing. I prefer the daggers. While I am not ambidextrous, I do have good control over my right hand, so I am able to use it efficiently for this. Plus my small size and good reflexes help me get in close to use them. While then I try my hand at knife throwing, something I am much less proficient at compared to Peter. He is at the weight sets, at much below his usual ability, but he wanted to do some work on it. He is pressing around 250 right now, much more than I could do, but I could bet he could press 330 or 340 if he was really trying. Then we meet up for lunch. There is a buffet-style setup, so Peter and I don't have a ready-made protein-filled lunch waiting for us. But as we walk up to get served and point out what we want, the Avoxes either shake their head or nod to indicate what things we should take. It really is amazing how much everyone is helping us with this. I didn't expect it when we asked on the train, but I think it might be a middle finger done to the capital. It is well known in District 12 is the worst district when it comes to the games, usually. I can't remember the last time even one of our tributes made it out of the bloodbath, let alone both of them. I think all these Avoxes and kitchen staff, who are definitely overworked and are probably even Avoxes as well, would want to make the capital look like fools. What a better way than to work in their admittedly very tight limits and help us out, the least favoured tributes? If that's not the reason, I would be very surprised. But either way, I'm very grateful for their help, and I know Peter is too. So we take their recommendations, ending up with a meal consisting of rice with pieces of egg and vegetables, a chicken dish that was declared orange chicken on the side, sitting at the top, a cup of egg soup, broccoli and a brown sauce with carrots and little baby corn cobs, and these little pockets are full of fatty pork. They aren't pasta, and I'm not sure what they are, but they are salty, slightly spicy, and very, very good, especially with the sauce that comes with them. Peter and I just drink water with our meals, knowing we need to hydrate with all our exercising and exertion during training. We joke and laugh all throughout lunch, but we also talk a little bit about the other tributes in whispers. Peter mentioned how District 10, the girl, is crazy fast and good with knives. Not so much throwing, but at close-up handling. He overheard the girl saying that she had been on the cows her whole life, and the boy hadn't been on the large livestock, usually because of his bum leg, but he also picked up shifts killing the pigs. Which means neither of them are bothered by blood or death, or being the one to do it. I tell him how, when I was throwing knives, District 8 was talking between themselves. Apparently in that district they use a lot of poison for the rats in the textile factories. The main derivative is nightlock and other poisons, and that they have extensive practice at handling and using them. We both talk about the career tributes as well, though we already know what each of them are good at. Maybe the girl from 4 is the one we have the least knowledge about, but we do know her favourite weapon, nets and a serrated sword, though if she is very practiced with tridents as well, even if she isn't as good as Finnick. So neither of us are worried about focusing on her, even if we agree that a little more knowledge is good to have. By the end of lunch, we had completely caught up, though we were only apart slightly with one station anyway, so it was pretty easy. Lunch comes to a swift end with Attila coming up to collect us, and we all head for group training. We walk out to a very intimidating sight, and I don't mean the careers showing off. The game makers are high up near the ceiling, watching us filter in and already assessing us. But that's not the scary part. It's what they intend for group training that stops me in my tracks. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. They are just breezing through this, so I'm glad they're adding an extra challenge in the next chapter. I'm not going to say what, but because Peter and Katniss have gone through this twice already, it does need to change it up, otherwise this will be too boring. Yes, it's a bit fun to see them doing well, but at the same time, you do need to spice it up a bit. So I like that they're doing this. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.